Stuart, I have a question.
Yes, Larry.
How can you talk a little bit about how to tell the difference in situations that are Maya, karma, or if we're following the right path in different areas?
All right. Very simple answer, Larry. Oh, most karma is Maya, unless you turn it into something that teaches you how to get closer to God. So, what we experience every day in our activity, it's all transient. It comes, it goes, it's all an illusion. And yet we're here to learn how to take that illusion and make it a step on a ladder that gets us closer to our spiritual enlightenment, closer to the highest levels of our humanity. So we don't poo-poo it, and we don't say, oh, it's just transient. It's just, what do we learn from it? And as soon as you begin to see the world that way, karma becomes reality. It becomes reality because it's teaching you how to grow inside yourself. And the soul comes to the earth to learn this. It comes to the earth to learn how to transform suffering into a spiritual life. So the answer to your question is very simple. Karma is illusion. You know, if you don't learn anything from it, if you keep repeating the same nonsense over and over again and not learning anything from it, karma becomes reality the moment that you see it as a lesson that's teaching you how to get closer, how to develop. When anger becomes love, karma becomes reality. When revenge becomes love, karma becomes reality. And we also learn through doing this how not to hang on to anything, to recognize that everything is transient. We're transient. We come, we go. What are we here for? We're here to learn how to take our karma and turn it into a lesson that gets us closer to spiritual enlightenment, closer to developing the highest levels of our humanity. It's not an easy job, and mostly a lifetime of patterns have to be changed because we usually look at the world in the exact opposite way. How do we get revenge? How do we get back at somebody? I mean, this is all the madness in the world comes out of that. Wars, racial things, all the nonsense, it all comes out of that. The moment the person looks at it and says, what is this teaching me about me? What do I have to change inside myself? And as we begin to make those changes, we suddenly discover why the hell we're born. God is love. We're born to learn how to live with open hearts, with love, with compassion, with kindness. That's why we come to earth, to learn how to do this. And karma becomes reality when we start learning how to do this. Is that clear? I hope so.
Yes, very clear. Thank you.
You're welcome. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? And yeah, we live in a circus. We do. What is that famous writer named Stuart Perrin once said? Life is a circus, but nobody goes to the circus to have a lousy time. I wrote that in one of my books. And I've never forgotten that because it's true. We live in the three-ring circus. It's insane. Every time you read the media, there's some madness going on in the world. Venezuela and Gaza and this and that. I mean, it's crazy. But we have to learn to transform that into compassion instead of anger, into love. And the problem amounts to is that you got 8 billion people that have to learn to do this. It's a lot of people. And most people won't learn to do this in our lifetime. So we have to learn to forgive people instead of getting revenge on them. I mean, 8 billion people have to learn this. That's a lot of reincarnation.
Stuart, Derek,
Yes, Derek?
I have a question about my 20-year-old child. And, they have
Wow, he's
what?
20 already. That's
Well,
amazing.
it's a stepchild.
Stepchild. Okay.
Stepchild. My wife, yeah, my wife's daughter. And they have a really hard time taking care of themselves. And, this question pertains just as much to me as to them. But, how and when do we really learn to take care of ourselves? They have a different spiritual path than I do. I think that they might, and I just wondered if you could talk about that.
Myself too. I was a kind of a gypsy kid. I mean, I would just get a plane ticket to Europe and spend 10 months there hitchhiking all over the place. No money, nothing. My mother used to worry about me. I mean, I'll tell you a funny story. I used to, look, kids are kids. You got to grow up before you begin to learn these things. You have to go through enough hard knocks to finally say, stop the bullshit. But I'll tell you a funny story. I lived in Paris, and I was living in a hotel room there, cost like $1 a day at that time. Things were really cheap and you could live kind of a bohemian life then on the left bank in Paris. And I earned a living selling newspapers on the streets. The New York Times I used to sell. You ever see the movie Breathless? Well, I did that, what she was doing in that movie. And one day I'm trying to sell a newspaper so I can eat and pay my rent. And some guy taps me on the shoulder, and I look and I said, yes. And he shows me an Interpol badge. And I said, yes, what have I done? And he said, call your mother. I swear I was 20 years old at the time. Call your mother. I looked at him, I started to laugh. I said, don't you have anything better to do than this? But it's true when you're 20, 19, I mean, I had a kind of a second or third cousin once. He was 18 years old at the time. And I was at his mother's apartment, my cousin's apartment, and he was sitting there moping and depressed and unhappy. And I said, what's the problem? He said, everybody keeps telling me that I should grow up and have what I want to do with my life. I have no, and I looked at him and I said, you know something? How old are you? He said, 18. I said, you're lucky you don't know what you want to do with your life now. You're lucky. The whole world is open to you. You will find it. Don't stop looking. If you know what you're going to do with your life when you're 18, you're in a lot of trouble. You're in a lot of trouble. And when look, when I was 18, oh man, I had no idea what this place was about. I went to Europe, I traveled, Africa, here, I was on my way to India all the time. I was looking and it finally came. It finally came. So they're 20 years old. Just love them. Love them. Don't lecture them. Just let them know that if they have any questions, they can always come to you. But don't lecture them on the right way to live, okay? Because that's the quickest way to chase them out of your life. Look, I have a young daughter. I have the same problems with her. She gets into all kinds of messes. And my question to always her is, what did you learn? Not, oh, you did the right thing, the wrong thing, you but. I would say, what did you learn? And she said to me, you're the only person who ever asked me that question. what did you learn from all of this mess that you just created? You know? And if you learned something, then it wasn't a mess. You had to go through this to learn something about your life. So I suggest treating them that way. Don't lecture them. Don't their way, their religion, your belief. It's all bullshit. It all changes, you know? What's real is what did you learn? Loving people unconditionally. That is real. And they will find their path. You do that with them, they will find their path. And it might be something that you never dreamed of in a million years, but they'll find a way. I mean, is that clear? I hope it's not easy.
Yeah.
Not easy to do though, because we're always ready to judge everybody, you know?
Thank you, Stuart. That helps very much.
You're welcome. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? I'll never forget that Interpol guy. I looked at him, show me his badge. Call your mother. That's all he said to me. Call my mother. I started to laugh. I said, my God. So then I called her. What are you sending the police after me? What's going on here? Just wanted to find out where you were. Does anyone else have a question? And you have to believe in yourself and believe that there is a purpose for your life. And it's not to live a boring, mundane, mediocre kind of existence of replicating everything and living in this. There's something extraordinary inside every single human being. And if you believe that and you look for it, you will find it. And I found it when I found Rudy, because I found somebody who could teach me exactly the thing I needed to know without judgment, without, anything. It was just there for me to learn how to build myself and grow every day of my life, and not worry about the future, but live in the moment, because how you live in this moment will determine your future. I mean that. And people that have their lives plotted out for them, takes them right to the grave. The other ride is a bumpy ride, but man, you discover stuff that is extraordinary. And it brings life becomes this extraordinary adventure. And it doesn't matter what profession it turns into, that profession will become an adventure. You will renew yourself every day in that particular profession that you will do in your life. And it becomes, instead of some, by rote, robotic way of living, every day it renews it. So you have learned how to renew it, regenerate yourself, see it differently, learn what it has to teach you about yourself and about your life. You could be a doctor, a lawyer, you could be a school teacher, you could be anything. It's there to teach you how to renew yourself so you can make the profession into something really interesting and creative, instead of something that's just done robotically and by rote. I mean, look, I'm not a kid anymore, and I'm reinventing my life now. I really am. It's just interesting to me to see at this point of my reinventing myself. And I mean, it's fascinating. And it provides me with a kind of youthful energy that, based on how old I am, it should have been gone a long time. And yet it constantly is regenerating my energy, what I'm doing. I just did an interview with somebody in India, really. And And I mean, I know India very well. I've been there so much. But, I think I've done 5 interviews with people in India, and they all keep inviting me back. If you come to India, we will come, you'll get taken care of. I mean this, you know, it's kind of wonderful to Stuart at this age reinventing himself instead of going to live in some old age home where, you play bridge every day. And part of me feels like I'm 25 years old. And I love it. I love it. I mean it. Does anyone else have a question you'd like to? I have just one announcement to make. We really have finished. We got this Audible book thing registered and accepted, and now they have to review the contents to make sure that we're not selling pornography or something. And the cover and the artwork, and I'm sure it's going to go through. So within 10 to 20 days, you'll be able to get an Audible version of the book. And I think that's great. People can just listen to this. Nobody reads anymore anyway, so you can listen to it. I just see this thing evolving, and it's just so interesting to see how my life has been changing over the last 2 months. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? Hey, if there are no more questions, thank you. God bless you all. Have a wonderful day. And I say it after every class, you're probably tired of hearing of it. But I have so much gratitude for each and every one of you that you appear here in these classes. And doing this has helped me to grow so much in my life. And I'm hoping that you are growing as much, in your lives because of these classes. So God bless you all. A great day. There will be class tomorrow at tomorrow evening, and then on Wednesday, no, yeah, tomorrow evening, there'll be class, and then on Thursday there'll be this class at 1 o'clock my time. So thank you and bless you and have a wonderful day, and I'll see you all soon.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Stuart.
Stuart.
You're
Thanks, Stuart.
welcome.
Thank you.
Bye.